the papers today, actually, that the fund, the British Legion Fund, is down a bit this year on last year. So don't forget, if you haven't bought your poppy yet, then don't forget to buy your poppy. November is the time of the year when we traditionally wear our red poppies in memory of those who've sacrificed their lives in the line of duty.
And as we prepare to remember them this Sunday and observe the 2-minute silence on Monday, today we'd like to introduce you to one very brave man.
Flight Lieutenant Owen Scott fought in World War II and in 1944 was awarded the Distinguished Flying Cross, given to pilots for an act of valour, courage or devotion to duty whilst flying in active operations against the enemy. He's here now, and welcome, Owen. It's a great pleasure to have you here. Thank you. We've mentioned the award there, the DFC, and so before we go any further, I think we ought to look at it, if that's all right. And this is what it looks like. We'll find out why you are presented with that in just a moment.
Look at that.
But it came with a letter from the King. And there that is. They're saying that unfortunately he couldn't make it on the day, but sent you the note. Initially, though, you were going to be in the Merchant Navy, weren't you? Or you actually were in the Merchant Navy.
Yes, I was for a year.
So why did you decide to switch and go into the RAF?
I found out that it wasn't for me, the Merchant Navy. You know, I was very lucky. I went up to Russia. I went to South Africa, went to the Far East when I was in the Merchant Navy, but it wasn't going to be a lifelong thing. And so my indentures were cancelled by mutual consent.
Yes.
And so I started off and then on another.
Well, you were training in America. They had flight training in America. But was there a feeling initially of a young man who wanted to fly Spitfires?
Yeah. Yes. That's right. Yes. Everyone wants to fly a Spitfire. Well, that's how we all joined up, really. But then we got diverted off into different transport command, fighter command, and so on.
You ended up in Bomber Command, of course.
Yeah, well, that was the shock of my life, because I was trained with the American in Pensacola in Florida to fly flying boats, and I got my wings on flying boats. I was a captain on a Catalina flying boat, and then the idea was I was going to be posted back to the UK and fly in coastal command, you see, with flying boats. But no, suddenly I was posted to a bomber squadron.
And when I was reading about this, at the age of 22, you would pilot 30 bombing raids over Germany, and at the age of 22, for someone like me, you sort of listen to it and you go, you were such a young boy, really, a young man,
yes,
doing that. It must have been terrifying.
Yeah, it was all terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait a minute, I got so many things I could tell you, and we haven't got time to do that,
yes,
I'm sure. But yes, there's one particular thing that. Would you like to know?
Absolutely.
One.
You tell us whatever you would like to tell us, sir.
Well, I would like to tell you this one because it was the most terrifying thing I had from the whole of my tour. To be as brief and truthful, put it that way, as I can, because it can be verified by my logbook, which you've got copies of, I believe, my flying logbook. But the raid was on Zeitz, I think it was, in Germany, and of course we always flew at night. You see, the Americans flew in the daytime. I got my wings on flying boats. I was a captain on a Catalina flying boat. And then the idea was I was going to be posted back to the UK and fly in coastal command, you see, with flying boats. But no, suddenly I was posted to a bomber squadron.
And when I was reading about this, at the age of 22, you would pilot 30 bombing raids over Germany, and at the age of 22, for someone like me, you sort of listen to it and you go, you were such a young boy, really, a young man,
yes,
doing that. It must have been terrifying.
Yeah, it was all terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait a minute, I got so many things I could tell you, and we haven't got time to do that,
yes,
I'm sure. But yes, there's one particular thing that. Would you like to know?
Absolutely.
One.
You tell us whatever you would like to tell us, sir.
Well, I would like to tell you this one because it was the most terrifying thing I had from the whole of my tour. to be as brief and truthful, put it that way, as I can, because it can be verified by my logbook, which you've got copies of, I believe, my flying logbook. But the raid was on Zeitz, I think it was, in Germany. And of course we always flew at night, you see. The Americans flew in the daytime. Anyway, this particular one, we were coming back. But no, after we dropped our bombs, the bomb aimer used to have a little peephole where he looked in the bay to see if all the bombs had gone. On this occasion, he said, sorry to tell you, Skip, but the cookie is still there. And you've got 7 other 500-pound bombs, and I can't release them. They won't go off the rack. And anyway, we spent all night flying up and down the North Sea, doing aerobatics.
Trying to tip them out.
Yeah, exactly. And they wouldn't go. They wouldn't go. So we got back, still night time, and it was raining. I remember it very well. And I called my squadron and control and said, you know, what should I do? And they said, well, we'll call you back. So I was stooging around Grimsby there over the sea and waiting for the call to come back. And they said, well, very casual, well, either we can, you can put the aircraft into automatic and head it out to sea and then bail out. And I said, bail out? They said, yeah. So I said, bail out in the sea. They said, well, alternatively, you could bail out over the land when it's daylight, or you can land with the bomb on board. So,
which is incredibly dangerous because it's primed and ready to go. So if
yeah,
you
exactly.
bump the plane down, they'll all go off.
Yeah, that's right. And the big cookie, which was 2-ton bomb, the one in the middle, once you primed it, you couldn't defuse it. So you had to be ever so careful there what you did. So anyway, I put it to the crew, and I remember my rear gunner saying to me, go on, come on, Stip, we'll do it, you can do it. So okay, so lined it all up, it was raining, pitch black, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm coming into land now, thinking it's got to be a good one, this one.
Best ever, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I came in, and my rear gunner called me up. He said, Skip, he said, that's the finest landing you ever made in your life, and you'll never do it again. Now, that was as I was still going down the runway. Now then, when I got to the end of the runway, I said to the boys, open all the hatches, and when I stop, I want you to jump out and run away with me. You see? So, fair enough, I came up, and there we were, and I did. I kissed it on. It was a perfect 3-point landing, and now I'm rumbling. I'm looking at a photograph of myself over there. Oh, for goodness' sake! Anyway, this we ran away, and went to bed after debriefing, and the following morning I went back to see what was going on, and to my utter consternation, is the wrong word, but there was my aircraft, all right, and they'd got inflatable bags pumped under the wings, and all the bomb command people were there, and I remember my wing commander saying to me, look at this, he said, if the damn thing falls off now, we're going to be in trouble, you see. Anyway, they put inflatable bags under the wings, and when the hydraulics came on, they tested them, they found that the bomb, when I landed, the bomb fell off the rack onto the doors of the bomb bay. And then of course you couldn't defuse it, and so what they did was to they eventually lowered the bomb onto these inflatable bags.
Is this why you got that landing and that moment? Is that why you got the DFC?
Oh no.
No, there were many other things. I mean,
there
you
are
told us that one story
that I could sit here and listen to all day. And these are these stories that should be kept alive and passed on through generations.
Well, yes, that's, you know, my daughter's here with her 2 children.
Well, we're going to bring them in because, inspired by the collaboration between the Great British Teddy Bear Company and the Poppy Factory to create Bomber Command's Memorial Bear, which is actually, in you come, In you come.
Come in.
Now, this memorial bear really is so that you can hand it down through the generations and make sure that the stories of which you've just told us one incredible story is passed on. Hello there.
Hello, so this is Bailey and Zach. These are your great-grandchildren. Hello, and lovely
Yes.
to meet you as well. Welcome. And these are the bears. Have you got your bear there?
Where's your bear? Let's have a look at
This
your
is
bear.
your bear.
Look at that.
And the idea is that these bears are passed on with their stories through generations.
Yes.
So the memory is always there.
Yeah.
You must be,
And
I mean, the whole family must be so proud.
We are, and it's one of those things. Grandpa tells such. I know it's the
Look at
river.
the boats. See the boats out there.
Grandpa tells such amazing stories, and if we didn't get to hear that from him, we would never have any idea of what they actually went through. And obviously, things that he saw, bad things that he saw, he never tells us. He only ever tells us the stories that give you hope and inspiration, and that's lovely because you wouldn't want the children to know about.
No, of course. Well, and you've said we were reading your story this morning. The friends that you lost in front of your eyes. You'd go out and on bombing missions. Up to 2,000 planes. We see one of them fly over our house, and we
Yes.
can't believe the noise and what it looks like. Imagine 2,000 flying over.
Yeah, and there's 7,000 Lancasters lost.
And
7,000.
so many of your friends and disappeared in front of your very eyes. They'd wave, okay, in we go, boys, and then next thing you know, you've seen one shot down, time after time after time.
Yeah. I got caught in searchlights twice, and that was a very hairy thing.
I bet it was.
Can't imagine the things.
Essential those stories are passed down from generations, just so that we know what those that didn't come back, what everyone sacrificed, what you gained for us as a country. And so that's why we wear our poppies, that's why you have your bears, and thank you very much indeed for
Yes,
that.
I don't want to appear to be a hero, you know, but I did do it,
Yes,
and
you
I
did.
can never forget it, never, and I still have nightmares.
Do you really?
I do, yeah.
Really? Well, thank you for coming in today. It's been a
Well,
pleasure
thank you
to
for
meet you.
talking to me.
Not
I'm
at
so
all.
thrilled to be here.
Oh, it's lovely
Not
to
as
have you
thrilled
here.
as
It's
we
a
are
real,
to have
it's
you
a
here.
real honour. It really, really is. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much for bringing your bears in.
Yes.
That was a lovely kiss you gave him a moment ago. I saw that. That was lovely. Do they always get on that well?
Not all the time.
I mean, very
They don't
good.
do too badly.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, if Owen's story has affected you or you're looking for details of the teddy bears, you can find the information as well as helplines on our website.
And we're back after the break.